Hi, Palabo here. While I'm working on episodes for the next season, I'll give you some flashback episodes. You get 3 episodes per week. This one is episode 117. It's recorded in December 17, and it's from my visit to Dakar in Senegal. The next season is going to be from Europe. We start by sailing on the Nomad cruise from Spain to Greece, then head up through Albania, Kosovo, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Montenegro, Croatia, Serbia, Poland, Belarus, and the Czech Republic. And boy, do I have some surprises on that trip. Okay, let's go to Dakar.
Welcome to Senegal. Welcome to Senegal. Welcome to Senegal.
Meet Palabo, a digital nomad from Denmark on an epic journey around the world. At the age of 50, he made a bold decision. He sold everything, his house, his car, his furniture, and set out with a quest to visit every single country in the world, documenting everything along the way. This is the Radio Vagabond Podcast.
Do you remember last week's episode? We were making our way through the Sahara Desert, and our plans kept changing, partly because of me recovering from my pneumonia, and partly because promises weren't kept. We weren't picked up and driven down to the capital of Mauritania in a nice big Mercedes, just the two of us. Instead, hours later, we were 7 people in a smaller, very old, beat-up Peugeot station wagon. When I left you in the last episode, I was trying to get across the border between Western Sahara and Mauritania with my travel buddy Edward and a group of locals and our driver. From the windows down through Western Sahara, we couldn't see much more than sand and camels. Sometimes we would drive through a small village with some tiny houses. I forgot to tell you about the roads we were driving on. They were full of potholes as big as bathtubs, but that would only get much worse as we entered Mauritania.
He has visa.
Huh?
I have visa.
You have visa, where do you take it?
Yes, visa.
Let me see.
Visa.
This is a very poor country. Their GDP ranks it around number 140 of the 193 UN nations in the world. Mauritania is a country with 400 square miles, and it has a population of around 4 million people, and a lot of camels. It took us around 4 hours to get the passport stamps and be allowed to enter the country. When you cross a border like this, there are typically people offering to change your money, something I would never do. But in this case, I was recommended to do so. I was told this by experts in the travel community. Much to my surprise, the exchange rate you get here is much better than the one you would get in a bank in the city. So with a bit of Mauritania cash, I believe it's called Ouigoia, but don't take my word for it, we continued the drive. We only drove a short distance from the border to an intersection, and we were super confused because we had another 300 miles to go before we would arrive in Nouakchott. I remember thinking, oh my God, what now? Another checkpoint. Then they unloaded our bags and stopped a random car. They asked the driver if he could take us down to Nouakchott. And when he accepted, we got into the car and continued. And this was a huge upgrade. This was a fairly new BMW without a scratch. The driver spoke English, and apart from him doing his best to avoid the many potholes on the road, this was very nice. Well, especially for Edward. You see, he finally got the shotgun position besides the driver, and I was crammed into the back seat that was full of luggage. The place I had could barely fit a 10-year-old, and I am a lot bigger. But still, this was a much nicer car. The guy was from Dakar, going back in his new car after having worked in Italy for 6 months. And when we finally got to our hotel in Nouakchott, it was after midnight. He took us to our hotel and said that he would sleep for a few hours before continuing at 4 o'clock the next morning. He asked us if we wanted to join him all the way to Dakar. He mentioned a fair price for it, and after having seen a bit of the city looking for the hotel, we honestly didn't think that this looked like a place with much to see. Also, we really only thought about getting down to Dakar, where we had a nice Airbnb waiting for us for the next week or so. So, with the drive, we would be in a nice car with a friendly guy, and we wouldn't have to worry about finding another crappy car packed with people and potentially being ripped off again. We knew what we had here, so we decided to accept his offer. He put the seat back and went to sleep in his car in the parking lot in front of our hotel, and we went inside. When the people at the hotel saw two white Westerners, they tried to tell us that the price we paid for the hotel only was for one person and we had to pay double. At this point, we were both tired and did not have much patience. We just wanted to go to sleep quickly for 3 hours, and with the receipt saying very clearly that we were two people, they realized that they wouldn't be able to rip us off, so they let us in. I think I almost fell asleep before my head hit the pillow. The next morning, at 4 a.m., we continued the drive and thought that we would get to Dakar in the early afternoon, even if the border crossing to Senegal would take as long as the one when we were entering Mauritania. It turned out to take much, much longer. Oh, wait for the story when we come back. But before that, let me remind you that this episode of the Radio Vagabond podcast is supported in part by Hotels25.com. It's a website that helps you find the best prices on hotel rooms around the world. Hotels25.com. Try it out, would you? You need to be patient when you're crossing a border here in this part of the world. We've been waiting in an enclosed, gated area close to the border between Mauritania and Senegal. A small town called Orosso, and here we've been for 3-4 hours, and nothing looks as if anything is going to happen anytime soon. We're with the driver that we switched cars to last night, just as we crossed the border in the northern part of Mauritania. It was a Senegalese guy driving home from Italy in a very, very nice BMW, and we decided to go with him this morning as well. At 4 o'clock we got back in the car, and then we've been driving to this border area where nothing really seems to happen. It's now 3 hours later. At the moment we're parked at the harbor area on the Mauritania side of the river. We can look over on the other side and there is Senegal, but right now we're waiting for a boat to take us across the river. We've had our passes checked and stamped here in Mauritania, and then it's just waiting. It's 3 o'clock, We left at 4 o'clock this morning, so it's more than 11 hours later, and we still got a bit of a way to go until we reach Dakar in Senegal. It's 10 minutes to 4 now, and we're moving, slowly driving onto one of these 2 small ferries that is going to take us across the river. Okay, now it's almost 7 o'clock. A few hours more have passed. We are on the Senegal side of the river, and the last 3 hours we've been going through customs and getting approved to go into the country.
No, no cadeau. No cadeau. Thank you.
And all the time, boys are knocking on the window asking for change, and we made good friends and had a lot of fun with some of the boys. It's been a day with a lot of waiting, but at the same time also a day that we will never forget. It was after midnight again when we rolled into the next capital, Dakar. In fact, it was 1:30 in the morning. So again, we were tired, dead tired. We felt dirty and sweaty. I remember having sand between my teeth from being in the Sahara's sandy wind. So when we were dropped off at the apartment, we couldn't wait to get in there and catch some sleep. But when we got there, it was nothing like the one we booked. It was an apartment, yes, with several rooms, and we booked the entire place. Well, we thought so. Even though it said so in our receipt, we only had one room with one queen-size bed. We had to share the bathroom with other guests, a bathroom that didn't have hot water, and there was no kitchen. We were not happy. So we left. Yes, it was close to 2 in the morning. We took our bags and walked down to the street of a big West African city that we'd never been in before. We had no place to stay, we were dead tired, and we had no idea on where to go. A long, dusty day of driving and waiting had made our patience totally disappear. We were super annoyed and just didn't want to stand for it. Also, we were getting annoyed at each other. We both felt that everything that the other person did or said was just super irritating. In fact, I remember that I accidentally stepped on the back of Edward's shoe as we were leaving the place, and he told me later that he almost felt like turning around and punching me. But after a short, angry snort, he controlled himself. We managed to find a taxi and explain in semi-French that we wanted him to take us to a nice but cheap hotel. The taxi charged us 4 times the normal rate, but at this point we really didn't care. Our plan was to spend one night at a hotel and then start looking for a decent apartment the next morning. And we did. We found a hotel, absolutely not a great one, but we had the best sleep ever. After breakfast and coffee the next morning, we looked at each other and said at the same time, I am really, really so sorry for the way I acted last night. And then we laughed and gave each other a big man hug and started searching for our next home. We found the most amazing big apartment with 2 big bedrooms, a nice living room and a kitchen. As far as I remember, it even had 2 bathrooms. Now we finally felt we arrived to a place where we could start enjoying this part of Africa. This was 2 days before Christmas, so this would also be the place where we would celebrate the holidays. There wasn't much Christmassy about the city, but we had a great time here.
Now's the season to be jolly, la 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 la.
If you've listened to the Radio Vagabond podcast before, you've heard me mention my good friend Henrik Jeppesen. In fact, in episode 1, it was Henrik that interviewed me. He's one of the youngest in the world who had traveled to every UN nation. He did it before he turned 28. Now he's trying to visit every region on the Nomad Mania list. By the way, if you're a traveler, you should register on that, nomadmania.com. And you can follow Henrik's adventures on beyondeverycountry.com. Anyway, he's a huge inspiration for me and a close friend. And when he was in Dakar, he met a local woman working for an airline, and she offered him to spend a night at her house. They became friends, and he told me that when I got to Dakar, I should look her up. And I did. Her name is Astou.
My name is Astou. I'm a Senegalese.
She's very well educated and has a good, well-paid job, especially compared to most Senegalese.
I'm working by now. I used to work for airline industry as a alliances manager. And I studied in France for 7 years and come back to Senegal straight after my studies. And it's now it was from 2010. Uh-huh. I'm married. I'm a mom from two nice boys, and I'm living here in Senegal. And yeah, that's it. Simple life.
She had her private driver pick us up and take us to her apartment, where she had her aide cook a traditional Senegalese lunch for us.
This is called cebujan. It's rice and fish. And how it is cooked is it's cooked. The fish is cooked with vegetables and water, a lot of water, and it creates a sauce after that. And so we put the rice inside and we cook it like this. It's a very rich food. You can have, as you can see, you have vegetables inside, the rice, which are succulent, and you have the protein, which is fish. So it's the main Senegalese food, the cebujan.
It's the best meal we've had in Dakar, it's for sure.
Oh yeah, nice to hear that.
Yeah. And it's also for a European coming here. I noticed that the way we eat it is a little bit different because we have just one big plate on the table and we all just have a spoon and.
Yes, Senegal is called the country of teranga. Teranga means hospitality, and people here used to eat together. Everything is very socially made to maintain the social and the culture and the social meaning is very important for us. So we find that eating individually is not very good. So people used to come together, eat together, and as you can see, I cut some rice, some fish for you. So I cut some. You see, so that means it's we are together, and it's solidarity also.
Astou was born and raised here in Dakar.
Yes, I was born in Dakar and raised in Dakar, and just left when I have my A-level, my baccalaureate. to study in France. And as I said, I came back just when I have my master in France. Yeah.
But you've also been traveling a lot for work, or?
Yes, I used to travel for work, working in the airline, West Africa, but in West Africa, yeah, I know several people in several countries in West Africa. And when I was also in France, I used to travel a lot. My sister, and Senegalese people used to travel. So my sister was in the US, so I went to Philadelphia also. I visited New York and Washington, everything.
In fact, your one of your sons is born in the US.
Yes, one of my sons was born in the US also. And yeah, I visited Dubai and we're at Monaco, Spain, so Barcelona. Yeah, I love traveling. I love traveling.
But of course, with 2 young boys, not so much right now.
Yeah. It's even difficult for me to accept certain jobs when it demands too much. How to say it again? Traveling. Yeah, I hesitate a lot to accept those kinds of jobs. So it's very difficult, and socially also it's not really well seen for a mom. Yeah, to travel a lot, leaving 2 years boys, and yeah, it's. Socially, it's not really accepted. No. Not really. So it's very difficult.
So people would look at you and say, "Oh, bad mom."
Yeah, a little bit. No, they can. Maybe they will not tell it to you, but they will. Think it. It's very seen, but you don't have the time to take care of your boys. You see, you how to say, you prioritize your job and everything. So but here, even from now, the role of the mom is to stay at home, cooking food and taking care of boys, etc., of children.
Dakar is the capital and the largest city in Senegal. It's located on the Atlantic coast and is the westernmost city on the African mainland. The city of Dakar has a population of a bit more than 1 million and almost 2.5 million in the metropolitan area. In the entire country, there are around 15 million people. With her 2 boys playing in the background, I asked Stu what makes Senegal unique.
If I can say, I think it's stability. If I compare to Central African countries, and you see. But West Africa, we have stable countries, but Senegal is mostly known for its stability, for its teranga, as I said before. Peaceful. It's peaceful. People are, very, I don't want to say occidental, but they're very emancipated, and liberate. Yeah, I think that's the word. Yeah. It's a very cool country. Mostly Dakar. Mostly Dakar. So compared to some countries in West Africa now, you can see, for example, when we talk about excision, I don't know if you heard about this excision that we do for the little girls. You see which is very bad. You can find it again in some countries in West Africa, but in Senegal, for example, things are disappearing. We banned that, and now we have a law forbidding. Yes, to forbid everything related to that. Yeah, it's very an open country. Yeah, you see. And a very, very peaceful country.
Even though 90% of the population are Muslim, this doesn't feel like a super restricted Islamic country. For one thing, the women rarely wears a hijab.
Yeah, that's right. That's make also a particularity for Senegal. It's a laic country. We have 90% Muslim and 10% Christian, but we live together, and with the most, we a family. Yeah. I mean, as I said before, my sister-in-law is Christian. We are Muslim, you see, so we live together.
So there's no no, what's the word I'm looking for here? Nobody thinks bad of a Muslim marrying a Christian.
Not at all. We are family for Christian. We are celebrating Christian faith.
And honestly, that's the way it should be. I really can't understand why all the conflict between different religions.
We don't understand also, and everybody can live here and enjoy his life as he wants. It's okay.
So bright, the sun is up again. I'm feeling like I could fly. No clouds in my way, no. And I'm living the good life. And I'm living the good life now. I'm living the good life. And nothing can get me down, no.
If you're one of those people that have shared this podcast on social media, or maybe just told a friend out there in real life, I just want to say thank you so much. That means so much to me.
Lift it up on your shoulders, I can see the whole world. There's nothing that I cannot do, no. 'Cause there's not a place that we can see if we don't live what we believe.
So Senegal has a lot of good things going for it. But still, like a lot of African countries, they do still have a lot of corruption.
Corruption is a very, very big problem here. For example, right now I'm working in the construction. For example, you can have a project, you submit to a project, but you're sure you can't have that project if you don't...
Money under the table.
Money under the table, that's a big problem here. And what made me afraid is that people are accepting it. When I come here, I was about to say, okay, now I have, I was trained like, you see, the Occidental way and everything. So, no, I can't accept this, and you see what I mean? Even there you can have that problem also, but it's too much here. So, when I came, I said, no, okay, me, for example, I can't give money to the policeman here to let me, okay, if I don't have my seat belt, it's okay, I just have to give him 2,000 CFA and it's okay, you see. And that's the way we are doing this.
Politically, Senegal has both a president and a prime minister. The president is the head of state and the prime minister is the head of government. Senegal is one of the few African states that never experienced a coup d'etat and a dictator, and is fully democratic.
Till now, yeah, it's a free democracy. We vote, but even maybe you can have something, but we can't control that. But it's democracy. Yeah, we don't have problem with a dictator. No. We don't have that problem.
Apart from Dakar, because now we've been here a week and we're heading south, is there anything outside of Dakar that is worth looking at and experiencing when you come here to Senegal?
Apart from Dakar? Mm-hmm. Yes. There is a place that we call the small coast, La Petite Côte. You have there Sali, Guerrero, Mour, Somon, very nice beaches you can have there. Also, we have safari. It's not far from here. It's about 1 hour maximum, La Réserve de Banja. It's Banja. The Réserve de Banja. And what we have also is Lompoul. Lompoul, there are sand dune de sable, like the desert. Like the desert, the Sahara, sand dune, That's the word, right? Okay, we have that also in Lompoul. It's not far from here. And the most thing thing you have to see are in the south of Senegal, Ziguinchor, Casamance. Very, very nice places. And if you like also fishing, it's a good place. It's a good place. And the Sin Saloum, I don't have to forget that. The Sin Saloum.
Sin Saloum.
Small islands. It's about 19 small islands that are, you see, that you have to see.
On the south coast.
No, it's not far from here. It's about 3 hours from here. Yeah, it's a Sin Saloum. It's very, very nice places. So, yeah.
That was almost it for this episode. In a few seconds, I'll share a bit of what you can expect in next week's episode. But first, let me remind you that this episode is supported in part by Hotels25.com. You can find the best prices on hotel rooms around the world on Hotels25.com. Also, I want to mention that this episode is produced by Radio Guru, my production company. Apart from this podcast, I produce podcasts for brands like Lego and anyone else who wants to use this amazing medium. And then I teach radio advertising for radio stations and advertising agencies around the world. And I do public speaking. If you want to learn more about what I do, go to radioguru.co.uk. We're here in Dakar a few more days, and in the next episode you can hear more about this wonderful city. I speak to Goff, a super cool dude who's both a painter, a drummer, and a rapper.
Yeah, I'm a rapper, I'm a painting, I'm a drummer, you know. And my vibes is ragandaga vibes, you know.
What?
It's a vibes with African beat, in African rhythm, African percussion, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, it's just like a tak 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 takun tak takanaga tum tak takun tak takanaga tum pak bili 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 rubadeng kom ali bili bili marubadeng kom ragandaga maxi vibes.
I like that. And then we go a bit further south to Gambia, or as they call it themselves, the Gambia. And I'm so looking forward to that. My name is Palabo, and I gotta keep moving. See ya.